Your brain is not always telling you the truth, and the fact that you believe it is the problem. Hey, welcome back. I'm back. I know I missed 1 week of posting. I beg no vex. It's not like I have plenty fans, but my fans, you guys have been looking for me. But I took some time just to rest. Managing a lot at the same time is not quite easy. You can already tell by the title what I'm about to talk about. So let's just get straight into it. Your brain is lying to you. That's the truth. Your brain is not always telling you the truth. And the fact that you're constantly listening to what your brain has to say is the real problem. I was having a conversation with somebody and he reached out to me that he has plans to make a video. He wants to start creating content rather on his social media, but he's not sure of this and he's not sure of that. He said, oh, he's thinking and I'm thinking about doing it and I'm thinking about doing that. And I just told him, stop thinking, just do it. The next week he had already done it and it was easier than he thought it would be. Did he go viral immediately? No. But a weight was lifted off his shoulder and he took the first step. Now you take the next step and he takes the next step and he takes the next step after that. Listening to your brain is the real problem that a lot of us have. The brain was not designed to help you make decisions. Your spirit was. Your brain is there to process information and to keep you alive. Really, your brain just wants to keep you alive. It's to make sure that your heart is beating. It's to make sure that your liver is functioning, that you can feel pain, you can run away from danger. And that is the essence of a brain. But to make important decisions in your life regarding your calling, your destiny, your business, your finances, going by what just your brain is thinking is not always the smart move. Because the truth is, your brain is always wired to try and get you into the best case scenario or try and take the easier route out of situations. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. So your brain will always try to negate things and make things that seem challenging or harmful less important or not necessary. Right? So if you're listening to your brain, you will never make any progress. You'll make any decision that is important in your life. There's something I said in my book. I said like we are made in 3 parts: spirit, soul, and body. Right? And your body, your brain is connected to your body. Your brain is connected to your body. But your spirit is your real essence. Your spirit is what is supposed to be connected to the divine essence of God that will help you decide. So when you are connected by spirit, you're actually able to make wiser decisions because the spirit controls the physical. The physical realm is an echo of the spiritual realm. So whatever you're seeing in this physical space or physical, whatever it is that you're seeing with your eyes, is actually a replica of what already exists by spirit. And it's really just like a minute echo of what exists in the spirit. Now there's a God that controls both the physical and the spirit, but everything about him exists by spirit. Is it not better to connect by spirit and make decisions for the physical by spirit first, instead of using the physical to make these decisions? Give that a thought. So what is self-doubt? Self-doubt is actually proof that you care about whatever it is. When you start to doubt yourself or question your intentions about a decision you're about to make, it's just proof that you actually care. Because people who are nonchalant don't care. So they don't have the doubt. They're not questioning themselves about these decisions. People who are nonchalant don't have anything to lose. They don't have anything at stake, right? There's no need for that self-doubt in their own perspective because there's nothing at stake. But when you care a lot, you start to question your own intentions. For instance, you're like, am I actually serving God for the right reasons? Am I actually doing this thing well? Am I able to succeed? Will I be able to do? These are signs that you are giving that decision a good thought before you actually take it or take it on, right? The people who feel nothing are usually the ones that have nothing to lose, nothing at stake. So it's okay to feel something. It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to question yourself about that decision before you take it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem now is sitting there in that thought and then not making a decision. The people who are able to succeed are the people that are able to do what needs to be done, even with the doubt that they have. The people who still question but still make a move. The people who do things afraid. While they are afraid, they make the choice and they get it done. But the people who don't ever succeed, the people who don't ever make it, are the ones who sit in their thoughts, their self-doubt and their questions, and they never make a decision about that thing. They never take action on it. Don't be too hard on yourself because you have self-doubt. There's nothing wrong with that. But be hard on yourself the moment that you are not making a move. Now there's a problem. The moment you see that I'm just sitting here, I've done nothing concerning my plans and my goals for the year because I don't really trust myself to do it. Paul said in the Bible, I beat my flesh into submission, right? So that is when you force yourself to stand up. For instance, if you're an athlete or someone who runs or does or goes to the gym, it's not every day you wake up that you feel like going to the gym, but you force yourself to go there. The last time I went running, I honestly, genuinely did not want to go. But once my alarm rang, I just stood up. With all the sleep, with all the grogginess, I stood up, I went for my run, and I had the most accomplished day that day. And I still ended up going to get some sleep. So even if I got that 2-3 hours extra of sleep in that moment, I would have missed out on something that was more important in my life. And I would sit in that regret and sit in that place, because that's where the enemy wants to keep you. He wants to keep you in that, stuck in that place of regret. And then you are in a cycle. I didn't do it. I'm so horrible. I'm not gonna. And that's how you stay in that cycle. And you stay in that cycle and you never actually do anything. So self-doubt, that initial self-doubt that can I do this thing that comes when you, that initial self-doubt that comes when you feel, can I actually do this thing? It's not the problem. The problem is staying there. Staying there and doing nothing. Have you ever noticed that the mind doesn't like to create a highlight reel of all the times that you have succeeded or successfully done something in your life? In fact, it likes to remind you of all the times that you have failed, all the embarrassing moments, all the worst case scenarios. Imposter syndrome is a liar with a good memory. It's able to recall every single aspect of yourself that doesn't feel good enough and make sure you know that it remembers. Now, imposter syndrome is not your real self. It is not a definition of your identity. The imposter syndrome is an attack, really, by the mind. I want to say it's an attack by the enemy on your mind, but I know it's not everybody that believes in the enemy, so I'm going to just say it's an attack on the mind. But if you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know. It's an attack on your destiny, because it's a place that you're supposed to be at. And instead of the enemy completely ending you and just wiping you off of the earth, what's the easier way to make sure somebody doesn't reach their destiny? To make them not believe that they can do it. So he says, okay, imposter syndrome, guy, go and visit this girl. Hang out with her. You're just sitting there thinking, the last time I went outside to create content, somebody laughed at me. The last time I put up my phone to record, my friends didn't support me. But I will talk about that specific topic of friends supporting and haters in my next episode. But why are you listening to the one person in your mind that does not support you? Why are you listening to the one part of your brain that does not care whether you succeed or not? In fact, its entire goal is to make sure you fail. It's just like going to the hospital and then there are two doctors. The first doctor says, you're going to die. And then the second doctor says, there's a surgery I can perform that can save your life. Why will you choose to listen to the one that says you will die over the one that can save your life? It's like you have two friends. One friend supports you and is always there to cheer you on. In fact, your mother is always there to cheer you on. You got this. I believe in you. Then that one boyfriend, because you are breaking up, says one negative thing about your entire existence. That's the only one you remember. All the people that have supported you, all the comments, all the people who have called you to tell you, Kai, I'm so glad you started doing this content. You inspired me. You will not remember those people. Have you not noticed that the reason you don't remember is because the person reminding you in your head does not support you? They're not your friend. So why are you listening to that? It's better to listen to the voice in your head that supports you. Now, I'm not saying that you should become a narcissist. You're not a narcissist because you love yourself or you support yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Narcissism is a different mental disorder that has nothing to do with self-love. But being able to sit with yourself and say, I'm doing well. I have tried. There's more I can do. There's this new idea that I believe I can actually try and do it. Let me give you an example. I went somewhere with, I was doing a shoot for a client and the stylist came with me, Zuri. She's a very sweet girl. She came to style the models for that shoot, right? And while we're shooting one of the outfits, we noticed this yellow, amazing Lamborghini truck just drive past us. So we immediately got in the car and followed the truck because we wanted to ask the driver to let us use the car for the content, right? Just to take some pictures or some videos around the car. We don't even need to enter the car. And we got to So where the car entered, it entered like a compound. We parked outside, and immediately I started doubting. I said, Kai, I don't know if we should go. We can't ask this, they can't ask these people. They've already gone inside. It's kind of weird. It's kind of embarrassing. And she just looked at me and said, the worst they can say is no. What, that has no ever killed you? I was like, true, sure. What's the worst that can happen when you hear no? It's just no. So we got out of the car. We stood outside that gate for like 15, almost 20 minutes, waiting for somebody to hear us, and they didn't. And I'm pretty sure if we stayed even longer, we would have probably gotten an answer from them. But the fact that we had, other shoots to do, we just left. But when Zuri said that, it was a moment of self-reflection, because I realized that there was something off with the way I was thinking. Why am I afraid to say no? Why am I afraid to hear no? Why am I afraid to fail? What is so wrong in me going to a place and hearing no is the answer, or asking somebody for something and then they reject me? What's wrong with rejection? What's wrong with failing? Failing is part of the process. So you might be thinking like, I don't want to do this thing because if I do it, I will most likely fail. Or what if I go and ask this person and they tell me no? And then what happens? And so what? And then what? You move on to the next. A lot of us are so caught up in this idealistic reality where everything is supposed to be a success the moment you try it. You're addicted to succeed at everything at first try. It's impossible to succeed at everything at the first try. I wouldn't say categorically impossible. There are people who have tried the first time, but how many people have tried something for the first time, the first attempt, and they succeeded? So what is wrong with failing at your first attempt, or second, or 100? People who have actually succeeded, they know how to be disciplined enough and resilient enough to fail multiple times. So that voice in your head that wants to tell you that you are so horrible, nobody's going to listen to you, what do you even have to say, who do you think you are? I want you to sit with that voice and ask the voice one simple question. Are you here to support me or are you against me? And it will answer you. Earlier, I told you that the brain is hardwired to protect you. That is also the reason why you are afraid of failing. The brain is hardwired to keep you safe. And a lot of times, safe to your brain is familiar. So because something is familiar, you feel safe. That's why a lot of people stay in horrible environments that are not good for their mental, physical, spiritual health. But because it is familiar, they stick in that environment and they think it is safe. But your brain is just trying to figure out what exactly will make your nervous system calm down. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's always right or it's always good. A lot of times, your brain mistakes that spike in your nervousness, in your nervous system, for something that is unsafe. For instance, you're trying on a new challenge or you're taking a big financial risk in your business. Your brain will think that you shouldn't take that risk, or you shouldn't try that new approach, or you shouldn't start that new business because you don't know what's going to happen. It's uncharted territory. We are unfamiliar. We don't know what is there. What's at stake. But how can your brain know everything that is at stake? It's impossible. It is very possible to make what is unfamiliar safe. Not by succeeding at first try, but at the comfort in knowing that you may not succeed at first attempt, but you are comfortable enjoying the process. You are curious enough to explore the opportunity. You're curious enough to explore the process. That is what makes the big difference. What do you do about self-doubt? What do you do about the imposter syndrome or the fear of failure? You do not silence it by succeeding. Success is not what silences that self-doubt. What actually silences it is you doing what you need to do anyway and proving to that voice that there wasn't anything to be afraid of. Proving to that voice and canceling those thoughts in your mind that tell you that you can't do it because you did do it. So every single time you feel that doubt, every time you feel that fear in your mind, what you need to do is just do it anyway. Do it afraid. Do it with the fear. Do it with your body shaking. Somebody asks me, how do you do all these things? How do you keep up with all these things? Are you not afraid of tomorrow? For me, I'm not necessarily afraid of tomorrow. Do I know what tomorrow holds? Nope. Am I afraid of tomorrow? No. Am I afraid of failing? Sometimes. But why do I do it anyway? Because I know there's someone bigger than this whole universe that has got my back. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in my next episode.